Once humanity achieved gravitational mastery, the Planet Mesa project began. Its aim, regenerating outposts in space for people to live on while the Earth healed. It had become increasingly unstable over the years due to man's relentless march of progress. Each Mesa planet is an artificial creation positionally controlled by the great Dr. Cheryl Norman's incredible game-changing gravity engine. In 2245 AD, the humans began to leave Earth to inhabit the Mesaverse. This is known as the Dispersion. All details were taken care of before arrival. Citizens were offered the choice of which side of the Mesa Cube to work on and which to live on. The ocean, beachfront and ocean life. The green, fishing, farming and forestry. The metro, city living and business district. The stone, precious mineral harvesting and underground development. The scorch, energy collection, uninhabitable. The ice, freshwater regeneration, uninhabitable. It looked as though Dr. Cheryl Norman and her engineering company, Ecor, had truly saved humanity and the Earth, particularly as she was also a pioneer in the field of genetic modification and enhancement. Year 162 DC, 162 years after the dispersion. Mesa 21, Metro side. It's a busy job, and the streets seem dirtier every day. But Detective Garrick Grimstone fights for the truth in a society where the truth is bought and sold. With his aging bot Blast, an original DD-1 defense droid, he works in Quadrant 2. Strange occurrences in the city had led the detective to investigate a possible increase in illegal genetic modification. Genetic abominations, unnatural longevity, mutations, dangerous fanatics. Detective Grimstone thought he had seen it all, but life is full of surprises. One such surprise occurred on the lunar base, a facility on the moon that controls and coordinates all Mesa planets. Dr. Cheryl Norman was visiting and disappeared without a trace. Dr. Nicole Shinoda, captain of lunar operations and mentor of Dr. Norman, had no idea what had happened. No ships had departed the base. There was no sign of a struggle, and no explanation left behind at all. A wise council called the Living Memory presides over the governing body of every Planet Mesa. Upon finding out about the disappearance of their leader, Dr. Norman, the councils agreed to hide this information from the public and privately hire an expert to track her down. A bounty hunter. A man with a reputation for never stopping and never sleeping. Lichtenberg. Struck by lightning as a child, he honed his agony into a weapon. It is pain that stops him from sleeping, and it is pain that keeps him going. Two days after the disappearance of the Doctor, Detective Grimstone, during the course of another investigation, found surveillance footage that looked like the Dr. Cheryl Norman handing a package to a scarred and masked man in a parking lot. Grimstone spoke with his chief, who recognized the masked man from the found footage as Lichtenberg. The chief immediately arranged a special transport to take Grimstone to the location the bounty hunter was known always to return to. Planet Exile. a prison planet, home to some of the worst criminals and creations to have ever once befouled the face of a Planet Mesa. Grimstone had been promised complete cooperation in regard to his investigation upon arrival. What Grimstone didn't know was that at that exact moment of his arrival on Planet Exile, on Mesa 21, Dr. Norman was disappearing for the second time. This time, to the amazement of witnesses and bystanders, Dr. Norman was seen beside some sort of mid-air doorway to the unknown, just waiting, being seen. Then she stepped through and was gone. The Mesa military knew what to do. They were to prepare themselves as if for war, and then journey through a portal they were in the process of engineering. Dr. Norman had left detailed instructions on what they needed to do. Her very public disappearance ensured the order to follow her was obeyed by the military and accepted by the people of Mesa. They loved Dr. Norman and demanded action and her return at any cost. Elite units of the Mesaverse military were to meet the Doctor at a specific time, at specific coordinates, and the countdown to that time was almost over. General Cullen was deeply devoted to the Doctor. 13 decades of loyal service had fortified the General's belief. He was in charge now, and not for 1 second did he betray any doubt about his course of action. His faith in Dr. Cheryl Norman was unshakable, and the lives of millions were in his hands.